Number 10 on this list is JLo's and Alex Rodriguez's breakup. After 4 years together and an engagement, the pair cut ties and went their separate ways earlier this year. Now the breakup itself, it seemed rather amicable on the surface. They both said, "We will continue to work together and support each other on our shared businesses and projects. We wish the best for each other and one another's children's." Out of respect for them, the only other comment we have to say is thank you to everybody who has sent kind words and support. So, all of that honestly seems really nice. However, it didn't take Lopez very long to move on from A-Rod and go back to an old flame in Ben Affleck. Fans have speculated if there was potentially something going on between them prior to the breakup, but nothing of significance has gone to proving that. Meanwhile, A-Rod is still recovering from the loss. He's been posting a lot more on his Instagram in what fans believe is an effort to make JLo jealous. He has also been captioning things like, "I've fallen and I can't get up, and I'm good with that." But I'm not totally sure if you are though, Alex, because the day that the breakup was announced, he posted a video with Coldplay's Fix You playing in the background as he shared photos of him and Lopez very much in love. The super amicable joint breakup that was portrayed may have been a lot more one-sided than we initially thought. Number 9 on this list is the conflict that had arisen from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle with the royal family. The couple now lives in California, far from the reaches of the British crown. They no longer live near their relative royals due to some pretty bad blood that has gone down in the family over the past several years. In 2018, Meghan and Harry, they got married and they were immediately on the cover of every tabloid one could think of. What we weren't aware of though was that there was a little bit of trouble in paradise. The pair eventually stepped down from their royal duties as they felt increasingly ostracized from the other royals. A very close family friend came out and said, "There is so much bad blood in that family, it's toxic." Over this past year, Harry has apparently tried to make contact with his father, but has said that he's been cut out completely. His phone calls often going straight to voicemail. It seems that the bad blood is still very thick, and that even a move to California hasn't fixed the underlying problems that the royal family has. Number 8 on this list is less of a scandal and more of like a what? Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were on Dax Shepard's podcast having an interview when they said on that show that they don't bathe their kids until they can see dirt on them. Like, what? Like, how often do your kids have dirt on them? I can't imagine it's that much. This wasn't the end of this little tidbit of information though, because Kristen Bell decided that she wanted to weigh in on the pressing issue. She came out and said, and I quote, "I'm a big fan of waiting for the stink. Once you catch a whiff, that's biology's way of letting you know you need to clean it up. There's a red flag. Honestly, it's just bacteria. Once you get bacteria, you gotta be like, get in the tub or shower." End quote. So I hear you with that, Kristen, like I do, but I feel like I'm not the weird one for saying that having a regularly scheduled showering time is kind of the norm. I mean, at least the kids are probably loving this, like they barely have to bathe.
Number 7, Mark Wahlberg. This one was one of the most unlikely celebrity feuds in the history of celebrity feuds. In 2014, Mark Wahlberg appeared on Conan and revealed that his daughter's obsession with One Direction infuriated him, so much so that he threatened to beat Harry Styles up. It's pretty clear that the actor was never a fan of the singer to begin with and told Conan that his 2 little girls would rather talk about One Direction than their dad's movies. Quote, "My 4-year-old's going, 'Daddy, I like Harry,' and I'm like, well, I'm gonna punch Harry in the nose when I see him. She pulls out pictures of him and she's hiding pictures in the room, and I pretend I'm ripping them up and I get jealous. But if I see that little prick, he's gonna get it." Insinuating that if Harry didn't watch out, he was going to risk getting a black eye or 2. Mark also discussed a plan to have One Direction do a song for one of his movies, only to lure them in so that he could basically beat the crap out of them. Quote, "I could say, 'Hey, I really want to meet One Direction, I'm a big fan. Maybe you can do the title track for the song,' and then I would beat the crap out of them in a video." Of course, it seemed like he was just messing around or being sarcastic, but it was a little odd how long he kept the joke going. Number 6, missed eye contact. It seems like everyone at the event was intent on avoiding each other, because despite the fact that they have been together for well over a year, Olivia and Harry barely acknowledged each other at all during the premiere. However, the 38-year-old was seen trying to make eye contact with her boyfriend as they were posing on the red carpet to no avail. And then again, before the movie started with similar results. Yes, they did seem like they were trying trying to keep it professional, Styles did his best to avoid her while being as charming as ever and greeted others at the event. But Harry was not the only one avoiding eye contact on the red carpet. Florence Pugh reportedly would not even look in Olivia's direction while posing for photos or during the movie's standing ovation. But there's a good reason for this. It was Florence and Olivia's first time being seen together since her phone call to Shia Labeouf was leaked, where she told him, "You know, I think this might be a bit of a wake-up call for Miss Flo, and I want to know if you're open to giving this a shot with me, with us." So just from the recording, you can tell that Olivia was trying to play both sides. Number 5. Florence Pugh. As we know, the Hollywood it girl appears in Olivia Wilde's upcoming film alongside Harry Styles. However, there was reportedly much tension on the set between the two women. Florence allegedly wasn't too happy seeing her director hook up with Harry, considering the fact that at the time she was still married to Jason Sudeikis. But the main reason for the feud between the two actresses is because Florence reportedly did not feel safe or comfortable playing Shia's love interest in the movie, as the actor has been recently plagued with disturbing allegations like accusations of domestic violence. And while Olivia made it seem like she was understanding and going to accommodate her request, the video Shia leaked of her tells a different story entirely. In the video, Olivia sounded heartbroken that he was leaving the project and instead makes it seem like Florence was the problem after all. She said, "The fact that you're leaving might be a little bit of a wake-up call to Miss Flo. If she really commits, if she really puts her mind and heart into this at this point, and if you guys can make peace, and I respect your point of view, I respect hers, but if you guys can do it, what do you think?" So it's easy to see why Florence would be upset at that. Number 3 is stylist drama. The 26-year-old actress had all eyes on her as she wore a sparkling black Valentino dress with glittering accents while promoting Don't Worry Darling. But things really hit the fan when Florence's stylist Rebecca Corbin-Murray shared multiple pictures of Florence in the gown to Instagram with the caption "Miss Flo." So she made it pretty clear that she was on her client's side of all the drama. But fans were quick to respond to the post, which was a direct reference to the apparent backstabbing done by Olivia against Florence. Besides, most people can agree that being called Miss Flo just sounds extremely condescending. But if you thought that was the end of it, you would be wrong. Olivia Wilde's stylist Carla Welch then posted a response to that photo and said there's always more to the story. So it looks like Olivia and Florence are both using their stylists to throw shade at each other, probably because it would be too intense to do it themselves. But the internet is not on Olivia's side at all, even though she has tried to shut down stories of the feud and has gone on the record saying that it's nothing but invented clickbait. Meanwhile, Florence has never denied it or even commented on the scandal. Number 2, Jessica Biel. There was once a claim out there that Jessica Biel did not want Justin Timberlake to be anywhere near his ex-girlfriend Olivia Wilde and allegedly sees her as a threat. It's completely understandable that Jessica wouldn't be jumping at the opportunity for Justin to work with Olivia again, given that in 2011 they were seen partying together at a Hollywood club called the Roxbury, and allegedly got pretty handsy before leaving together at 3 a.m. The actors, who were co-stars at the time in the movie Now, reportedly cuddled in a VIP section before moving out onto the patio. Eyewitnesses said that the two of them were even seen kissing. Even though Olivia responded to the rumors by tweeting, "Cool it, honey badgers, we are just friends and have been for years." But not only that, Jessica's marriage to Justin was also tested in 2019 when he was spotted with his co-star Alicia holding hands during a night out in New Orleans. The photos caused a huge scandal and Justin had to make a public statement the following month, apologizing for his strong lapse in judgment and claimed that despite the photos, nothing happened between him and his co-star. So Justin certainly has a rocky history when it comes to infidelity. And coming in at number 1, Jason Sudeikis. After a 7-year engagement, the pair announced that they had separated in November of 2020. Like most celebrity couples that live in the public eye, their divorce is very messy, and so was their big public breakup and bitter custody battle over their 2 young children. But it seems like these two are still at each other's throats, which may or may not be due to the fact that Olivia allegedly cheated on Jason with Harry Styles, which was one of the main reasons for their split. In fact, it was heavily implied that the two of them had been having an affair for around a month before the breakup. And what made it even worse was that Jason reportedly didn't realize it was happening and even brought their children to visit the set. The actress and director was faced with a bitter surprise when she was served custody papers halfway through her talk. She later told Variety, "I hated that this nastiness distracted from the work of so many different people, and the studio that I was up there representing, try and sabotage that was really vicious. But you know, sadly, it was not something that was entirely surprising to me. I mean, there's a reason that I left that relationship." Ouch. Number 10. Florence Pugh. As we know, the Hollywood it girl appears in Olivia Wilde's new film Don't Worry Darling alongside Harry Styles. However, there was reportedly much tension on the set between the two women. Florence reportedly wasn't too happy seeing her director hooking up with Harry, considering the fact that at the time she was still with Jason Sudeikis, whom she is very good friends with. So it makes sense that she wouldn't be too happy seeing the two of them together when Jason was allegedly oblivious to the affair on set and even brought their two young children to visit their mother. But what was Harry's role in all of this? Well, not a whole lot, but it's pretty apparent that Florence disapproves of his new romance with Olivia Wilde. During the premiere of Don't Worry Darling at the Venice Film Festival, fans noticed that the actress avoided both Harry and Olivia like the plague. She posed for group shots with the entire cast, but did not get any photos alone with Harry, even though they were both central characters and love interests in the film. Florence also was said to have avoided eye contact with both of them throughout the premiere and seemed to leave the event as soon as possible. So with everything that went down, it's highly unlikely they'll be working together again in the future. If you're loving this video so far, please hit that like button, it would really help us out. Number 9. Shia Labeouf. The actor was initially cast as Jack in Don't Worry Darling, but in September of 2020, it was announced that he would be replaced by Harry Styles. Olivia then made some very explosive comments alleging that she fired Shia due to a no a-hole policy that she has while directing. She told Variety, "Shia's process was not conducive to the ethos that I demand in my productions. He has a process that, in some ways, seems to require a combative energy, and I don't personally believe that is conducive to the best performances. Ultimately, my responsibility is to the production and to the cast to protect them." But Shia was not very happy with this side of the story and decided to publicly expose Olivia. He emailed both the director and Variety to deny that he was fired, instead saying, "You and I both know the reasons for my exit. I quit your film because your actors and I couldn't find time to rehearse." And he proceeded to leak a video of Olivia begging him to stay in the film. Shia seemed to want to set the record straight, but some fans accused him of being bitter and resentful over the fact that Harry ended up replacing him in the film. It sounds like a bit of a reach, but that could be a possibility. Number 8. Zayn Malik. In a moment of honesty, the 29-year-old opened up to US Weekly and revealed the reality of his relationship with Harry, admitting that the two of them barely spoke while they were in One Direction, let alone since. Zayn said, "To be honest, I never really spoke to Harry even when I was in the band, so I didn't really expect that much of a relationship with him, and I haven't had one." Sometime later, possibly in a response to Zayn's comments, Harry appeared on SNL and dragged Zayn during his opening monologue. He said, "I was in a band called One Direction. How crazy would it be if they were here tonight? I love those guys. They're my brothers. Niall, Liam, Louis, and Ringo." If you didn't catch that, he was implying that Zayn was a less important member of the group, as many Beatles fans see Ringo Starr as the least talented and least interesting person in the band. So what was his reaction? Well, a source close to the star told Hollywood Life that Zayn doesn't care what his former band member does or says, and that he'd rather not see his name in a headline with Harry ever again. But the whole thing was hardly a surprise to fans, given that the two of them weren't exactly best friends. They were more like co-workers. Number 7. Bad reviews. Despite the audience's enthusiastic reaction at the screening and the 4-minute standing ovation, literally seconds after the film finished, critics rushed in to give their opinion on the psychological thriller. And you might be surprised to learn that it didn't do too well at all. The film is about Alice and Jack, a 1950s married couple that are lucky enough to participate in the very dystopian Victory Project, with its unbridled glamour, uncompromising comfort, and traditional family roles. But while it does sound good, early reviews of Don't Worry Darling have seen critics trash the film, like the 3-star review from The Independent, which describes it as a messy, convoluted affair with some very contrived plotting, and Culture calls it an empty shell that's full of half-baked ideas. In fact, most reviews describe the dystopian film as done to death, a cliche lesson in Feminism 101. Critics were especially harsh when it came to Harry's performance, as it has been called flat and surprisingly dull and low wattage. The internet was also pretty ruthless when it came to mocking Harry's acting skills, and mocking him for his unconvincing transatlantic accent. But the opposite can be said for Florence, whose performance seemed to be the only one that was singled out for praise, and critics seem to agree that she was doing her best with the material. Wow. Number 6. Gianmarco Soresi. As Olivia Wilde was presenting at CinemaCon and talking about her new movie Don't Worry Darling, a woman from the audience approached her and handed her a yellow envelope, which read "Personal and Confidential." The whole thing was caught on camera. As the actress opened the envelope, she found that it was custody papers from her former partner Jason Sudeikis. After a brief moment of shock, she decided to continue on with her presentation, but later addressed the bizarre moment in an interview with Variety. Quote, "In any other workplace, it would be seen as an attack. It was really upsetting. It shouldn't have been able to happen. There was a huge breach in security, which is really scary. The incident put Jason in a really bad light, but surprisingly, some people thought it was staged." Gianmarco Cerezi, a New York actor and stand-up comedian, seemed to believe that the whole thing was a PR stunt. He tweeted, "We're a couple of days away from finding out that Olivia Wilde served herself custody papers." Not only did his tweet blow up, but a lot of people were apparently thinking the same thing. As another user wrote, "On the very same day, Olivia just announced the release of the trailer of her new movie, and days later, Jason started a new project. As if they wanted all the attention on them. Open your eyes." Wow. Number 5. Noel Gallagher. The English singer and songwriter who is a member of the band Oasis has a long history of questioning other artists' musical abilities. But Noel Gallagher made a whole lot of enemies when he decided to trash Harry Styles. In fact, he hated Harry even when he was in One Direction, and decided to go on record calling the band members something that rhymes with rock suckers, and said that they would all be in rehab by the time they're 30. Not only that, but he told the Daily Star that X Factor as an institution has nothing to do with music whatsoever, and that performers and bands that came from the show don't work as hard as real musicians. Quote, "You're not telling me that Harry Styles is currently sitting in a room somewhere writing a song. With any joy, he'll be surrounded by a lot of girls. I can assure you he's not got an acoustic guitar out trying to write a middle eight for something." Noel also claimed that his cat could have written Harry's debut single Sign of the Times in about 10 minutes. The singer has also trashed Little Mix and said that they were not in the same league as his own band. But clearly, he doesn't take into account the size of a fan base either. Number 4. Vanessa Hudgens. When the High School Musical star made some pretty controversial comments complaining about having to quarantine and COVID restrictions, Olivia Wilde was quick to shut her down. During the Instagram Live, Vanessa Hudgens said, "Yeah, till July sounds like a bunch of BS. I'm sorry. It's a virus. I get it. I respect it. But at the same time, like, even if everybody gets it, people are gonna die, which is terrible, but like inevitable." Her tone-deaf comments earned her a whole bunch of backlash on social media, especially from Olivia, who slammed her in a tweet of her own, writing, "In 1,000 years, they'll dig up our society and find this precious digital moment and be like, oh okay, so this is why they mysteriously disappeared from the earth." She also left emojis of a head shaking in disappointment. All the criticism ultimately led the actress to return to her Instagram to clear up the misunderstandings. Vanessa wrote, "Hey guys, so yesterday I did an Instagram live and I realized that some of my comments are being taken out of context," and she proceeded to apologize for coming off as insensitive. It's unclear whether or not the two have made up since 2020, but it's likely Vanessa is still feeling the sting from being burned online. Number 4. Billy Porter. Not everyone was happy to see Harry Styles gracing the cover of Vogue in 2020 while wearing a dress. In fact, actor and director Billy Porter felt that Harry was just copying him. In an interview with the Sunday Times, Porter slammed Harry's gender expression as performative. Quote, "He doesn't care, he's just doing it because it's the thing to do. This is politics for me, this is my life. I had to fight my entire life to get to the place where I could wear a dress to the Oscars. All he had to do is be white and straight." Porter went on to say, "I changed the whole game. I personally changed the whole game. And that is not ego, that is just fact. I was the first one doing it and now everybody's doing it. I created the conversation and yet Vogue still put Harry Styles in a dress on their cover for the first time." It's easy to see where Porter is coming from, considering that yes, he has spent years making waves in the gender-fluid fashion world, and famously arrived at the 2019 Oscars in a Christian Siriano blazer dress, which kind of broke the internet at the time. But he also wasn't the first and only celebrity to ever push the envelope of gender binaries, so Harry shouldn't have been the target of his criticism. Number 3. Mark Joseph Stern. When the 2009 movie Richard Jewell came out, it was steeped in controversy, mostly because of Olivia Wilde's portrayal of real-life journalist Kathy Scruggs. The real Kathy, who died in 2001, was working at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution when she broke a story that the FBI was investigating a security guard named Richard Jewell for the bombing in Centennial Olympic Park during the 1996 Olympics. But the issue with the movie was that it depicted the iconic female journalist as having traded sex for information, which was particularly offensive considering the fact that there was no evidence Kathy Scruggs ever did that, and even many of her past colleagues came forward condemning the movie. Slate senior writer was among the loudest voices in protest of the film and slammed Olivia for her role. Quote, "Please do not pay to see movies that feature fictional female journalists who sleep with sources for a story. It's egregiously sexist, demeaning, and an insulting trope at this stage, and I don't see an appropriate response other than a flat-out boycott. It's 2019. Smart, thoughtful people have condemned this offensive trope loudly and consistently for years. They have persuasively explained why it is abhorrent. And he wasn't the only one taking offense." Number 2. Lucius. The American indie pop band did not hold back at all when they accused Harry Styles of not properly crediting them after they collaborated with the pop star on his 2019 song Treat People with Kindness. In an interview with the LA Times, the two lead vocalists, Jess Wolfe and Holly Lasig, said that Harry asked for their vocals on the song because they were already working on another song together at the time. Quote, "We were like, yeah, of course, it's just oohs and ahs, it's not a big deal, and it's a good opportunity for us. But we started singing and we were singing the whole chorus. 2 weeks later, they sent us the track and it was literally us. We started the song, we sing every chorus, just us. We trade off in the bridge, it's us and Harry Styles." The women maintain that Harry didn't even link their band when he put the song on Spotify, which they claimed robbed them of critical exposure that they needed as a relatively unknown band. Quote, "It just hurt. There was an opportunity to spread the love a little bit, which he purports to do all the time, and it could have really helped us." While the situation does sound disheartening, it might not have been something that Harry did knowingly or maliciously. Number 10. Candace Owens. In 2020, when Harry Styles made history as the first male to have a solo cover of Vogue, what really surprised people was that he wore a dress. The conservative commentator did not approve of his clothing choice, and so she tweeted, "There is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this, in the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children is not a coincidence. It is an outright attack. Bring back manly men." In response to this, Olivia Wilde called Candace pathetic for basically attacking Harry's gender expression and conflating wearing a dress with being feminine. Then in response to that tweet, Candace hit back at Olivia, tweeting, "You're single for a reason," referencing her split from longtime partner Jason Sudeikis, which was announced just days earlier. The Twitter feud recently resurfaced online and has since gone viral after the actress was spotted holding hands with Harry at one of his friends' weddings a few weeks ago. But many fans pointed to the tweets as evidence that Olivia has always been defending and standing up for Harry. Number 8. Amani Babaran. The author, influencer, and activist reacted to the hypocrisy surrounding the viral video that was leaked of Olivia Wilde addressing the feud between Shia Labeouf and Florence Pugh. She tweeted, "This whole Olivia Wilde thing reminds me of the Whitney Cummings thing. Reminds me of so many recent incidents in Hollywood where white women have revealed that they acquire power in the industry not because they challenge norms but tout female empowerment while changing nothing." In the clip, the 38-year-old is seen driving a car and speaking to the camera at the same time. She tells Shia that she is not ready to give up on the possibility of him working on the film, despite the fact that she later claimed to have fired him. But in reality, the video exposed that she was the one pleading with him to stay on the project. Shia was pretty much out to expose her and wrote an email to Variety explaining how everything went down. Quote, "Firing me never took place, Olivia. And while I fully understand the attractiveness of pushing that story because of the current social landscape, the social currency that brings, it is not the truth. So I am humbly asking as a person with an eye toward making things right that you correct the narrative as best as you can." Number 7. Tao Ruspoli. Olivia met her first husband, filmmaker and Italian prince Tao Ruspoli through a friend of her family's in late 2002. The actress wasn't initially eager to meet him, but she warmed to the idea and she was charmed by his personality, charisma, and political activism. Just 6 months later, they eloped and seemed to be truly happy, and would eventually go on to pursue several film projects together. But in March of 2011, 8 years after eloping, Olivia filed for divorce from Tao. He did seem to be a lot more heartbroken out of the two of them, and even made a documentary called Monogamish, which was inspired by his heartbreak over the divorce. In the film, he revealed, "My wife just left me after nearly 10 years together, and my whole world has crumbled." But for her part, it seemed like Olivia almost wanted to embarrass her ex. In 2020, at an event hosted by Glamour Mag, she discussed trying to fake happiness with her ex-husband towards the end of her marriage. In fact, she aired out all their dirty laundry and talked about how bad their sex life was. Quote, "I felt like my vagina died. Turned off, lights out. You can lie to your relatives at Christmas dinner and tell them everything on the home front is just peachy, but you cannot lie to your Even if she was joking, that would have been a little painful for anyone to hear. Number 6. Liam Payne. Twitter fans ridiculed Liam for airing the dirty laundry of his former 1D bandmates on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast. The 29-year-old reflected on the band's highs and lows, as well as the various feuds within the group and their personal problems in recent years. But fans took particular issue with the fact that he said his 2017 debut solo track, Strip That Down, outsold everyone else in the band. In fact, the whole interview came off as a little bit of a humble brag for Liam, and a lot of people were confused how he seemingly thought that he was the most successful member of the band. Liam also claimed that he was the chosen leader of One Direction, and disputed the notion that Harry was a frontman of the group. He insisted that the band was formed around him as a part of a promise that Simon had made to him 2 years prior. He explained that when he auditioned for X Factor the second time, he was thrown into the group, and Simon promised to make it work for him, and allegedly decided that Liam was to be the band's leader. But fans were very skeptical of the claim, and even Lizzo said, "I don't know who lied to that poor boy, but he was not the front man." So it looks like the question is still up for debate. Number 5. Chris Pine's behavior. The 42-year-old actor appeared to zone out at several key moments during the premiere, leading many to wonder if he was meditating or just bored. Fans were hysterical at his behavior as a video of Chris conducting an interview alongside Harry went viral for the funniest reason. Chris seemed to be looking very ambivalent about appearing at the festival, mostly in photos next to Harry. People were jumping to all kinds of conclusions, with some saying that he hated the cast so much that he was actively willing his consciousness to leave its current state. Images, videos, and memes of Chris Pine disassociating in press junket interviews and panels and on the red carpet has really captured the internet's attention. One popular video has cropped Harry Styles out of frame as he says, "My favorite thing about the movie is that it feels like a movie," while zooming in on Chris Pine's lifeless eyes. With the caption, "Chris Pine rethinking his entire life decisions that led him to this point," and you can almost see the screams catching his throat. Another viral meme shows 4 pictures of him from the press conference panel, where he gazes at the ceiling, studies the cap on his water bottle, and his eyeballs literally roll fully into the back of his head. But let's be honest, we've all been there. Number 4. Awkward questions. The director and actress spoke to journalists about her new thriller at a panel alongside other cast members, like Chris Pine, Harry Styles, and Gemma Chan. When one reporter said it was a shame that Florence Pugh was absent, they asked, "Can you just clear the air and address if there's been a falling out, and if so, why? Because it's something that people are discussing." To which Olivia Wilde responded, "Florence is a force, and we are so grateful that she's able to make it tonight despite being in production on June. I can't say enough how honored I am to have her as our lead." She went on to say, "As for all the endless tabloid gossip and all the noise out there, I mean, the internet feeds itself, and I don't feel the need to contribute. It's sufficiently well nourished." The next question was shut down immediately by the moderator of the panel after a journalist brought up Shia Labeouf. But it's certainly a hot topic that should have been addressed, considering the fact that she was recently exposed by Shia for lying to the public about the reason he left the cast. Olivia claimed that she fired him, so he leaked a video of her practically begging him to stay in the film, and blaming the whole thing on Florence. So it's safe to say that it wasn't a good look for her.
And at number 3, troublemaker surviving Hollywood and Scientology. Leah Remini went from being a Hollywood actress to a woman on a mission to expose the truth about Scientology. In her memoir, she exposed the truth behind her shocking split from Scientology. She revealed that when she was only a teenager, she went to the Scientology-run Sandcastle Hotel in Florida, and like any other person, she wanted to suntan at the beach. But for some reason that was prohibited, and when she was caught, they took her out to sea and threw her off a boat, almost drowning her. That's not all. After she took food from the headquarters, she was fined $40,000. In addition to the book, she also has a TV program where she attempts to expose the secrets of Scientology.
Number 2 is Britney Spears' conservatorship case. Back in 2008, the pop star's career was put in the hands of a legal guardian due to her mental health being severely in question. The agreement had her father control her estate and other aspects of her life. Now, this was intended to help Britney as she went to rehab and got her career and life back in order. However, she has come out and said that her father has done quite the opposite. That she was apparently drugged and forced to perform against her will. That her father prevented her from having more children under this thing. Basically, that he was running every aspect of her life and she couldn't live like this anymore. This sparked the social media to come to her aid with a whole movement that was meant to free Britney. Very recently, this goal was accomplished and her power-hungry father was stripped of his title, and thankfully, Britney was able to get her freedom back. The whole thing is just so icky, and I, for one, I'm really happy to see her getting some control back in her life.
And at number 10, to be determined by Britney Spears. It has just been announced that Britney's first post-conservatorship project will be writing a memoir based on her life. She signed a deal with Simon & Schuster for $15 million after a bidding war with multiple other publishing companies. This deal is one of the biggest book deals of all time, only behind the Obamas, who sold their books for $60 million to Penguin Random House. A source close to Britney told Page 6, quote, "The narrative has been shifted time and time again by the media, paparazzi, Britney's exes, and even her own family. After being silenced for almost 14 years, she's ready to take back her voice, something that never should have been taken from her in the first place. Britney has had one of the most iconic careers ever, and we're sure she'll be talking about her conservatorship and family issues, along with her high-profile relationships and career success. And this is the first of many new projects she has coming in 2022. Britney has stated on her social media accounts that she hopes to record a new album soon." And at number 9, Inside Out by Demi Moore. Demi Moore's memoir is one of the realest out there, and she revealed personal details that no other celebrity would think of. She spoke a ton about her failed marriage to Ashton Kutcher, and even admitted they used to invite third parties to sleep with them to try and recover their marriage. Unfortunately, that tactic did not work. She also spoke about her insane rise to fame and the struggles that came along with it, like addiction. She dishes out messy details about her relationship with ex-husbands Ashton Kutcher and Bruce Willis. Moore also included details about her fling with Rob Lowe and her hookup with Jon Cryer, as he told the world afterwards that he lost his V card to Moore even though he had slept with other women before her. And at number 8, The Secrets of My Life by Caitlyn Jenner. This memoir was insane because it exposed an entirely new side of Caitlyn Jenner the world had never seen before, even though Caitlyn had been uber famous while she was on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The book was so messy, it's the reason that the Kardashians cut Caitlyn off shortly after her transition. The book mainly focuses on Caitlyn keeping her true self hidden from the world, and she claims that Kris and the family knew of her gender identity issues years beforehand, but forced her to stay silent, a claim which the entire Kardashian family has denied. On Keeping Up, Kris Jenner said about the book, quote, "Everything she says is all made up. Why does everything have to be that Kris is such a..." Caitlyn responded to the controversy, stating that she told Kris about her identity in the beginning of their marriage. At this point, it's hard to know who to believe.
Number 7 on this list is the pettiest move in history by Conor McGregor. Conor has been in the media a lot recently, but it hasn't been for his fighting prowess. It has been for various allegations that really put his character into question. One of these allegations was an charge that he actually pleaded guilty to. Back in 2019, in an Irish pub, McGregor sucker punched a man in the back of his head as the man was drinking his whiskey. Clearly, they had had a verbal altercation, but it didn't need to go to a physical place. Even though that was 2 years ago and McGregor was clearly in the wrong, he hasn't let it go. In fact, in 2021, Conor returned to that same pub that the incident happened at, but this time with a big fat check. He bought that Irish pub from the owner, and directly after the news broke that he did this, he tweeted out, "Yeah, and your man's barred." This was in reference to the person that he had hit 2 years ago. So McGregor literally went out of his way to spend an abhorrent amount of money by this bar just so he could get the last laugh in a dispute that should have been settled years ago. If that doesn't scream petty, I'm not sure what does.
Number 6. Ryan's Toy Reviews. The channel, which is now called Ryan's World, is arguably one of the most popular family YouTube channels for kids. It has 3.3 million subscribers and now has more than 40 billion views, and has become the cornerstone of a shockingly lucrative kidfluencer empire. In 2019, Forbes named the now 10-year-old Ryan the highest earning YouTube streamer of any age for the second year in a row. But while the success of the channel grew, so did its various controversies. But most notably, Shion and Luann Kaji have faced various accusations of misleading preschoolers into watching ads by not disclosing their sponsorship deals. In fact, the content at first glance is considered wholesome, kid-friendly fun, with little Ryan unboxing cool new toys, but has allegedly raked in its profits under something called deceptive native advertising, which relies on product placement that young children are not able to distinguish between commercial and genuine content, which is actually a violation of Federal Trade Commission law. Complaints were filed against the channel, accusing Shion and Luann of deceptively promoting a multitude of products to millions of preschool-aged children, which really calls into question the ethics of creating that kind of content in the first place.
Halfway number 5, Kris Jenner and All Things Kardashian by Kris Jenner. The Kardashian family is one of the most famous and interesting of our time, and the family has been at the center of huge moments in history. In Kris's book, she focuses on the hardest time of her life, the trial of O.J. Simpson. Nicole Brown Simpson had been one of her best friends, and she even gave her daughter Kendall the middle name Nicole to honor her friend. In the book, Kris states how she knew O.J. was guilty, and she was heartbroken their ex-husband, Rob Kardashian, defended O.J. She spoke of the strain this put on their co-parenting and how it affected the kids. Kris also spoke about how she met Robert when she was very young, and she ended up cheating on him multiple times throughout the marriage. At the time the book was released, her daughter shared how hard it was for them to read these dirty details, and it mainly affected oldest daughter Kourtney.
Number 4. The Prince family. Crowned by the internet as the world's worst YouTube family ever, there is now an active campaign aiming to have their videos removed from the platform. Apart from the over-the-top cringy antics that are somehow both inappropriate while still being aimed at children, they have been accused multiple times of rampant colorism. In 2019, the young mother found herself in a firestorm of social media backlash after she and her husband Damien posted a vlog of their daughter's birth. During the video, which received over 1 million views, the parents can be heard discussing Nova's physical features just moments after she was delivered, with Bianca saying, "She's going to have brown eyes for sure. I thought you were going to have pretty eyes." Bianca seemed visibly disappointed and made several comments about being taken aback that her daughter didn't seem to have pretty eyes because they are brown and not hazel like hers. She then begins asking about the baby's skin and whether or not she'll have a light or dark complexion. When the video blew up, fans criticized their reactions to their own child, and the Prince family capitalized on this drama by doing a follow-up video defending themselves with a clickbait title, all in an attempt to gain more traffic to their page. Number 3. Micah Stauffer. The mum of 5 used to be a mid-level YouTube and Instagram influencer, a mum of 5 whose parenting vlogs and Instagram posts had a loyal following and several high-profile sponsors. But the influencer and her husband James rocketed into mainstream in 2020 when an in-depth BuzzFeed news article exposed one of the biggest controversies in the family vlogging community. It revealed that Stauffers had rehomed their adopted son after they found out he had autism and other developmental issues. In 2017, the adoption of little Huxley from China was painstakingly documented on their channel, and it helped them build and monetize a channel with more than 700,000 followers, many of whom were outraged by the announcement. Eventually, caving to the pressure, Micah spoke out about the controversy and posted a 4-page notes app apology, saying that she was naive and undertrained when she adopted Huxley and was ultimately unprepared to handle the issues that he had. She said, "I wanted to help so bad. I was willing to bring home any child that needed me. For this, I was foolish, naive, and arrogant. I wish so bad I was more prepared and done more." Micah said that Huxley has been moved to a new forever family, which is a really nice way of saying that they unadopted him.
In at number 2, Family Rift by Tori Spelling. Tori Spelling comes from one of the richest families in Hollywood, so it's no shock that everyone wanted to hear the dirty details that the family kept hidden. Tori is the daughter of legendary Hollywood producer Aaron Spelling. Their home, called the Spelling Manor, is one of the most expensive in the world and was recently listed for $165 million. In the book, Tori spoke about her strained relationship with her mother. Tori accused her mother, Candy, of having an affair with a family friend while her father was on his deathbed. At the time her dad passed, Candy and Tori were not on speaking terms, and Candy apparently cut her off and gave her no money after she was kicked out. Tori was broke for years after and had to get money from friends to survive. Tori also claimed she learned about her father's death from an email because her mother didn't tell her herself. And finally, at number 1, No Lifeguard on Duty: The Accidental Life of the World's First Supermodel. This memoir by Janice Dickinson exposed the horrible truth behind her rise to become the world's first supermodel. Her life is so interesting that this was the first of 3 memoirs written by Dickinson. This memoir focused mostly on her life during the 60s and 70s during her early career. Her next focused on her botched plastic surgeries and struggles with eating caused by her years in modeling. People loved this book because of how honest she was about her rise to fame, even throwing some other celebrities under the bus in the process. She also doesn't try to depict herself as perfect, and she owns up to a lot of her mistakes, making it quite a refreshing read.
Number 10, 8 Passengers. The Franks have nearly 2.5 million subscribers on their channel, which follows the lives of Kevin and Ruby and their 6 children. But the 8 Passengers found themselves in the middle of a tidal wave of rumors and accusations about their family in 2020, when Ruby posted a video featuring her then 15-year-old son Chad, who admitted something that would go on to be a particularly contentious issue for viewers. He casually explained that he lost his room after playing pranks on his little brother. Quote, "My bedroom was taken away for 7 months. I was sleeping on a beanbag since October." His admission sparked accusations of mistreatment, neglect, and even a visit from Child Protective Services. This led fans to take a deep dive into their past videos, and eventually found out that their then 6-year-old daughter Eve had gone to school one day without lunch, because it was her responsibility to make it in the morning, which she forgot to do. The situation only escalated further when other YouTubers caught wind of the drama and made their own videos criticizing Ruby and Frank for their parenting style, which is why the channel remains so controversial to this day. Number 9, the LeBrant family. Cole and Savannah LeBrant are a wholesome, blonde Christian couple with perfect highlights and over 6 million YouTube subscribers. But the internet's collective outrage against them really seemed to boil down to 2 separate incidents. In 2018, the couple came under fire for allegedly faking an evacuation during the California wildfires. They made a viral video called "A Giant Fire Makes Us Evacuate Our House," which garnered widespread sympathy from their fans, but only at first. When people did some digging, they found out that their location was not listed as an evacuation area for the fires, and their neighbors even came out saying the family's home was never in danger, and that the video was intentionally misleading, and said that they were exploiting a serious situation for views. But that wasn't all. In 2021, the LeBrant family posted a video with a thumbnail of their 2-year-old daughter Posey in hospital with the caption, "She got diagnosed with cancer." In the vlog, the couple said that they were worried that their daughter had leukemia because she would often wake up with pain in her legs. But halfway through the vlog, they revealed that she did not in fact have cancer, but called the whole thing a health scare. The video was slammed for its clickbait title, and the family has not been able to rid themselves of the controversy since. Number 8, Sam and Nia. This YouTube family has certainly been involved in their fair share of scandals. In 2015, Sam Rader admitted to reports that he had an account on Ashley Madison, the dating website for people seeking to have affairs. He posted a confession video saying, "I have sought forgiveness from God, and He has forgiven me, so I have been completely cleansed of this sin." But there was going to be a lot more trouble in Christian paradise. In 2018, the couple posted a viral video of Sam surprising his wife with her own pregnancy. He claimed that he just had a feeling that she might be pregnant and took it upon himself to test her unflushed urine from inside the toilet. The result was a viral video that quickly amassed millions of views. But then only a few days later, they posted an emotional video called "Our Baby Had a Heartbeat," claiming that Nia had suffered a miscarriage. But fans grew suspicious of the method that Sam used to administer the pregnancy test, and BuzzFeed News published an article with expert opinions revealing that it was not actually possible to get an accurate pregnancy test using diluted pee in a toilet bowl. Sam eventually admitted that the couple never confirmed their pregnancy with a doctor, and what ensued was a scandal so huge that their reputation has not recovered. Number 7, Daddy05. The family channel once capitalized on the trend of outrageous, shock value prank videos, with the parents Heather and Mike Martin filming the so-called pranks they pulled on their 5 children. They had a swarm of fans online who loved the wholesome, silly content, until the family took it too far. In 2017, the parents posted a video of them pranking 2 of their children by blaming them for spilling ink on the carpet, even though the parents actually planted the spill. Heather and Mike went way over the top and began screaming and swearing at the 2 young young children. The video was shared thousands of times and received immense criticism online, with massive YouTubers like Philip DeFranco making videos exposing them. The whole thing prompted an investigation from Child Protective Services, who put the kids in emergency custody with their biological mother. The couple also faced child negligence charges when their videos were investigated and were sentenced to 5 years of supervised probation, which meant they were no longer allowed to film their children for views. Subsequently, their channel was deleted and their fan base vanished. They've since made numerous attempts to try and get back on the platform, but every time they make a new channel, YouTube is really quick to delete it.
And at number 6, Open Book by Jessica Simpson. In Simpson's 2020 memoir, she put it all on the table, talking about her failed marriage to Nick Lachey, her career highs and lows, and her struggle with alcohol addiction. She admits that when she was a rising star, she was often compared to Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, and that gave her confidence issues. She also remembers the time when male executives called her overweight and told her that she needed to lose some pounds if she wanted to book roles, and this created a years-long struggle with eating. She was also incredibly open about her struggles with substance addiction. She admitted that she had such a bad experience on Halloween of 2017, she decided to go sober the next day. She was too wasted to help her kids get ready on Halloween night, and she slept the entire night and day so they would not have to see her in that state.
Number 5 on this list is the cheating scandal from Khloe Kardashian and Tristan Thompson. It feels like this is a perpetual story in the media, but once again, it's glaring its ugly head in 2021. Back in March, Khloe posted a really cute Instagram photo of her and Tristan with their kid at a fancy event for Tristan Thompson's birthday. The couple looked really happy, and she captioned the picture, "The ones that are meant to be are the ones who go through everything that is designed to tear them apart, and they come out even stronger than they were before. Thank you for showing me everything you said you would, for the father you are, for the best friend I have in you. I'm thankful I can do absolutely nothing with you, and it feels like everything." Well, I'm happy that you feel that way, Khloe, but clearly Tristan did not feel the same. Only a few months later, the pair broke up again when Tristan was seen entering a bedroom with 3 other women and was apparently parading himself as being single. Apparently now, the pair aren't fully back together, but they're spending lots of quality time together. So we'll see how that develops in time.
And at number 4, Little Girl Lost by Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore had such an insane childhood, she had enough to write a memoir about when she was only 15. After starring in E.T. in 1982, she quickly descended into substance addiction, and it got so bad she was put into rehab at the age of 14. In the book, she revealed the tragic story of how she ended up at the party scene before hitting puberty. Apparently, it was all thanks to her mother. Drew revealed that her mother started pouring alcohol over her ice cream when she was only 7 years old, and she got drunk the first time at Rob Lowe's birthday when she was only 10. According to The Guardian, her mother first took her to Studio 54 that same year, and the pair often went to clubs throughout Barrymore's childhood. When talking about Studio 54, Drew recalled, quote, "It was like Disneyland for adults, only I got to be a part of it. We went out pretty regularly, sometimes once a week, other times up to 5 times, but nothing was never enough for me."
Number 3 on this list is Kanye and Kim. You had to know that it would be on this list, but the split between Kim Kardashian and Kanye West sent waves through the internet when it happened. The pair had been married for 6 years, however rumors started to surface about cracks in their marital foundation. This all came bubbling up to the surface when footage of Kim was released where she was crying to her sisters, "Why am I still in this, like, place where I'm stuck for years? Like, he goes and moves to a different state every year. I have to be together so I can raise the kids, you know?" She goes on to say that Kanye deserves somebody that can support his every move and go follow him all over the place and move to Wyoming. She says, "I can't do that. I feel like an effing failure that it's like a third effing marriage." Obviously, Kim wasn't happy to be losing another marriage, but realized that it was in her best overall interest. The split was civil, however some lines from Kanye's album Donda allude to a lot of mistrust in the relationship. Clearly this marriage had been flawed for a while. I mean, Kanye lived in a different state than Kim for most of the time, and they barely saw each other. Not really the romantic foundation that a marriage should be built off of.
Number 2. The Ace Family. Arguably one of the biggest family vlog channels on YouTube with 18.8 million subscribers, the Ace Family are notorious for frequently being embroiled in controversy after controversy, which has really affected their reputation on the platform. There was a time that they were caught staging a break-in to their home, and even got their young daughter to react to the fake scenario, and even had a police officer on the scene. Or when they were caught lying about the state of their multi-million-dollar home. In October last year, creditors foreclosed their $10 million mansion after the couple amassed more than $8.7 million in debts. Not only that, but in June of 2018, Catherine and Austin were accused of scamming audiences to increase their subscriber numbers when they posted a video that they would give $100,000 to a subscriber of the Ace Family who could complete a basketball challenge, and asked fans to respond if they wanted to be a part of it. Later that same month, they sent out a post saying that they selected 20 basketball players and YouTubers to complete, but they ended up giving the money to a close friend of theirs who also happened to be a wealthy basketball player. And get this, he was not even an official competitor to begin with. So it's no surprise that they've lost so much of their audience over the years, because most of the scandals that befall them are often a direct result of their own dishonesty. And coming in at number 1, Jordan Cheyenne. At the height of her success, Jordan's YouTube channel had over 500,000 subscribers, and she vlogged about her seemingly perfectly laid-back life in California, mostly about fitness and life as a single parent. She was extremely popular in the influencer community for her girl boss advice and her weight loss meal plans, until she posted the now viral video of her son crying about the death of their family dog, titled "We Are Heartbroken." But she made one terrible mistake and included an unedited clip of her coaching her son Christian to cry for the thumbnail. In the disturbing video, you can see that the child was already very upset and on the verge of tears, and he tells her that he was already crying and didn't need to pretend for the camera, but she felt that he didn't look sad enough and instructed him to make a certain face for the video. Jordan could be heard saying, "Act like you're crying," even after he said, "Mom, I'm actually crying." The backlash Jordan received after the clip went viral was nothing short of biblical. She then scrubbed her social media accounts and deleted her YouTube channel altogether, and has since tried to make a comeback with a fraction of the audience that she used to have. So clearly, she was not able to live it down. Number 10. Extreme tension. While Florence Pugh did not end up walking the red carpet, the internet could literally not get over how distant she was from Olivia the whole time. The 26-year-old was obviously giving her the cold shoulder, which comes as no surprise following rumors of tension between the stars over Olivia's romance with Harry. If you don't know, Florence allegedly wasn't too happy seeing them hooking up, considering the fact that at the time she was still with her longtime partner Jason Sudeikis, and they have 2 kids together. Not only that, but the weird vibes continued into the screening, where Florence and Olivia were seated 3 people apart. According to multiple eyewitnesses inside the screening, the actresses maintained their cold demeanors towards each other, and Florence even turned away from her when she started crying during the standing ovation. While yes, she did walk the festival's red carpet with the rest of the cast and posed for group shots as well as photos with her co-stars, the 2 women were not photographed alone together at all, and Florence didn't pose for pictures with Harry either. So as much as Olivia loves to deny it, it's clear that there is still some deep resentment between them, and it would be very unlikely that they ever work together again in the future. If you're loving this video so far, please hit that like button, it would really help us out. Number 9. The spit. The question on everyone's lips right now is, did Harry Styles just spit on Chris Pine at the Venice Film Festival? Well, the reason this is even up for debate is that footage from Monday night's festival has been making the rounds on social media, with fans pointing to one particularly bizarre moment. In the video, Harry can be seen approaching Chris to take a seat next to the actor at the screening of the movie. As he quickly moves his seat, he makes a subtle motion with his mouth, suggesting that yes, he may have spit in the direction of his co-star. Chris looks down at his lap, pauses his applause, then shakes his head and grins as if there may have been some kind of joke between the 2 stars. Chris's reaction does seem to be genuine though, as if something really did land on his lap, but some people argue that nothing could be seen coming out of his mouth. There's also speculation that the moment occurred due to Chris taking Florence's side against Harry's girlfriend Olivia, but that seems more ridiculous than anything. Meanwhile, others speculated that Pine lost his cool because he was awkwardly placed in between the controversial couple. But whatever the case, it's highly unlikely that it was the real deal. Number 8. Harry kisses Nick Kroll. During the standing ovation at the end of the screening, the former One Direction member grabbed Nick Kroll's face and gave him a huge kiss. They were both dressed in blue suits and appeared elated by the audience's response to the movie. In a heartwarming video from the event, you can see Harry and Nick finding each other in the crowd after the film's premiere and excitedly embracing as onlookers cheer them on. But the moment was only made awkward because the 28-year-old singer mostly kept his distance from Olivia that night. But she did watch them kiss and she was noticeably uncomfortable with it. We'll never know what she was really thinking, of course, but just from the video, Twitter users have already flooded the platform with jokes about how she wished he was the one making out with her. Considering that both Harry and Olivia have remained extremely professional all throughout the promotions and premiere of the film, fans expected the couple to do their red carpet debut at the film festival. Instead, they chose to walk the red carpet separately, maybe because they would rather save the attention for the movie. Olivia recently told Variety that she plans on keeping their relationship private and said, "I'm not going to say anything about it because I've never seen a relationship benefit from being dragged into the public arena."
And at number 7, Down the Rabbit Hole by Holly Madison. After the show The Girls Next Door became a huge hit, everyone wanted to know what really happened to the ladies while they were in the house, and head girlfriend Holly Madison shared her side of the story in her explosive memoir. Holly spoke about the oppressive and controlling tactics that Hef would use to make sure the girls never left him, like giving them an allowance and punishing them if they tried to save it. Holly wrote in the book, quote, "Hef knew how desperate, sad, and broken I was, but didn't do a damn thing about it. I'd given 7 years of my life to a man who couldn't even have a conversation with me." She also revealed the bedtime rituals the girls would have to partake in once a week, and apparently all the women would have to go to Hef's room and take turns sleeping with him, if you catch my drift. Overall, Madison portrays Hefner to be a highly manipulative figure who prevented the women from having independent lives. And a lot of her stories have been confirmed by the other women.
Number 6 on this list is Chrissy Teigen. The 35-year-old supermodel and wife of musician John Legend had her name in the media for all the wrong reasons when she was called out for a controversial bullying scandal. Courtney Stodden, a 27-year-old supermodel, called out Chrissy for an array of bashful tweets and messages that left her feeling very small. After this came out, several others followed suit and reported that Chrissy had left them feeling worthless, with one individual saying that they even considered suicide after working with her. Chrissy Teigen took some serious time away from the media, and it seems as if that was the right choice. She's come back now and is apparently a stronger person. She says that she is over 100 days sober and feels a lot more clear-headed. Hopefully all of that is true and that the harsher side of Chrissy is left in the past.
Number 5. Nikki Phillipi. The YouTuber with 1.23 million subscribers typically posts family, lifestyle, and Christian content featuring her husband Dan and son Logan, and occasionally the family's dogs. Nikki has been no stranger to backlash, like in March of 2020 when she faced criticism for recommending a vitamin treatment for COVID-19. She published a video titled "My Virus Story," where she claimed that she was treated for what her family believed to have been a viral infection with high-dose intravenous vitamin C and recommended it as a treatment for COVID. That was pretty bad, but fans were livid when Nikki and Dan posted a video sitting on the couch discussing their family dog Bowser, and they revealed that they ended up euthanizing the dog after it bit their son one day. They also tried to play it off as a good thing and explained that Bowser was aggressive and had behavioral issues, but longtime fans of the channel saw no evidence of that in their countless videos. The couple was bombarded with collective anger from the whole internet, considering that many people felt they put down an innocent animal all because of a slight inconvenience. The controversy led Nikki to a social media hiatus and a dwindling subscriber account as the incident completely tarnished their reputation.
Number 4 on this list is Ioan Gruffudd and the whole incident with his family. Ioan has been in countless movies and TV shows over his long career, and his ex-wife Alice Evans is no stranger to movies and TV either, having been in her own fair share of things. Well, on January 6th of this year, she tweeted out, "Sad news. My beloved husband / soulmate of 20 years, Ioan Gruffudd, has just announced he is to leave his family starting next week. Me and our young girls are very confused and sad. We haven't been given a reason except that he no longer loves me. I'm so sorry." So yeah, that was a lot, guys. Now, first thing I would say about this is that when reading this now deleted tweet, you can tell that she's upset. And I mean, rightfully so. Her husband of 20 years is completely leaving and you have a right to be hurt. She does say that he doesn't give her a reason, and I hate to say, but I do think he does. Not loving someone, in my mind, is a pretty sizable reason, but I can only imagine that after 20 years, that has to be a heartbreaking blow. Now, what has not been confirmed is whether he was leaving his daughters as well, or just wanting to separate from his wife. So we still don't really know about that, but this scandal has actually recently got a development too. Alice Evans has accused Yoan of having an affair for 3 years while they were together. Whether that's true or not, we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah. Number 3, Taj Jackson. Michael Jackson's nephew was fuming when Rolling Stone UK tweeted out the cover of their November issue, which featured Harry Styles. The singer was pictured rocking a white fur stole and pink sequin shorts while holding a birthday cake with lit candles, and the title reading, Harry Styles, How the New King of Pop Set the Music World Aflame. It's safe to say that this didn't go over too well with Taj Jackson, who immediately took to the comments to roast the magazine and demand a different title for Harry. He wrote, "There is no new king of pop. You don't own the title, Rolling Stone, and you didn't earn it. My uncle did. Decades of dedication and sacrifice. The title has been retired." The 49-year-old is the eldest child of Michael Jackson's brother Taito, and although he insisted that he wasn't disrespecting Harry, his 180,000 followers seemed to be out for blood and started joining in on the hate train against him. One user wrote, "Harry is like every other pop star, a Michael Jackson wannabe that will never be anywhere near as good or as talented as the real king of pop." Then Taj doubled down on his feelings and wrote, "There is only one king of pop, and no offense intended to Harry Styles, but he's not in the same league or universe as Michael Jackson." Wow. Number 2, the press conference. Florence Pugh was noticeably absent from the press conference at the Venice International Film Festival. Although the rest of the cast was there, fans were not exactly shocked to see that the actress didn't show up, with all the drama that's been going on. But before anyone labels the move as a protest, Variety has already confirmed that this was because her flight arrived only after the press conference took place. Still, it wasn't really a good look for Olivia, considering that her leading lady has not been very active in promoting the film either. And now Florence has made her annoyances with the film's marketing very clear in a chat with Harper's Bazaar, saying, "When it's reduced to your sex scenes, or to watch the most famous man in the world go down on someone, it's not why we do it. It's not why I'm in this industry. Obviously, the nature of hiring the most famous pop star in the world, you're going to have conversations like that. That's just not what I'm going to be discussing, because this movie is bigger and better than that." So it's obvious that Florence is not exactly happy with the way the movie is being portrayed, so not promoting it is just a subtle way of showing that. Number 1, standing ovation. When the audience at Venice erupted into a 4-minute standing ovation for the film, Variety reported that Florence left the round of applause early, and the ovation would have probably gone on longer if she hadn't made her way for the exit about 3 minutes into clapping. Her decision prompted the rest of the cast, including Olivia Wilde, to follow her out the door, although I'm sure the director would have loved to stay a little longer in the celebratory moment. Not only that, but during the applause itself, Florence, who was a leading lady in the film, still did not make any eye contact or acknowledge Olivia at all. To be fair, she's very booked out as an actress and is busy filming the sequel to Dune with Timothée Chalamet in Budapest. So Florence literally has places to be. But can we really hold it against her if she wanted to get out of the premiere as fast as she could? It was clear that she was uncomfortable being in Olivia's presence after everything that has gone down since the film's cast was first announced in April of 2020. So everyone can agree that it's high time that she moves on to bigger and better things.